Imagine a monster that has devoured about 300 people during its lifetime and still roams free somewhere. No, this isn't some movie villain. This is a very real 6-meter crocodile named Gustav, and he possibly still hunts humans in Burundi. Or maybe not anymore. No one really knows if he's alive or dead, or even if he exists at all. Gustav has become something like a local version of the Loch Ness Monster, only with a proven victim count. It all began in 1987. That's when people first noticed a huge crocodile attacking residents near the Ruzizi River and Lake Tanganyika. You think it's normal when a crocodile hunts humans? Well, yes, it happens sometimes, but to kill 300 people, and most importantly, Gustav clearly didn't need food. Often he wouldn't even completely eat his victims. It seems this crocodile simply decided that humans needed to be exterminated. How can you not be afraid? But wait, how can a crocodile even grow to such a size? Gustav's exact measurements are unknown. No one measured him with a tape measure, but estimates put his length at over 6 meters and his weight at more than 900 kilograms. That's 3 times larger than normal crocodiles in Burundi. If you believe the stories, Gustav is some kind of prehistoric monster that accidentally got stuck in our time. Local residents claim he's about 100 years old and he looks accordingly, with battle scars from bullets and even grenades. Yes, this crocodile has been shot at and they say even had grenades thrown at him. And he, as if nothing happened, continued his bloody adventures. However, when scientists managed to see his mouth, it turned out that Gustav has a full set of teeth, which can't be the case for a century-old crocodile. So most likely he's about 60 years old. But how he grew so enormous in such a time frame remains a mystery. Maybe it's all because of his unusual diet. During mating season, when Gustav travels along the shores of the Ruzizi, he becomes especially dangerous. The crocodile can reach the most remote areas and kill up to 20 people along the way. And most often, these are fishermen and swimmers who were unlucky enough to be near the water at the right time. That is the wrong time, of course. If a crocodile wants to eat you, it means you've chosen a very inappropriate time for swimming. Naturally, people wanted to catch the vicious crocodile several times. A special trap cage was even made, weighing a ton and almost 9 meters long. The perfect size for a monster like Gustav. The team spotted the crocodile, set the trap, and even placed a hidden infrared camera inside. Different baits, careful camouflage. It seems they considered everything. But Gustav didn't even approach the trap. He simply ignored it. Then they set up 3 more traps on different shores to definitely catch him. And you know what? Other smaller crocodiles were caught, but our giant disappeared again. By the way, scientists suggest an interesting thing. Perhaps Gustav is forced to hunt humans because of his size. He simply became too big and heavy to effectively catch usual prey like fish or antelopes. He has to choose something larger and more accessible. Buffaloes, hippos, and, well, us. And considering that crocodiles can go without food for a very long time, Gustav can afford to be picky. Although I'd prefer he be picky in some other way, not by hunting humans. And then, in 2016, Gustav simply disappeared. Along with him, the attacks ceased. A 2019 article in Travel Africa magazine stated that Gustav had been killed, but there's no evidence, photographs, or even details about how it happened. Absolutely nothing. So the question remains open. Is the legendary man-eating crocodile alive or not? And local residents still fear going near the water. And honestly, I understand them. But you know, Gustav is just a small fry compared to the Champawat tigress. This kitty set a real record, killing 436 people in Nepal and India at the turn of the 19th and 20th centuries. She was even listed in the Guinness Book of Records as the deadliest man-eating animal. And she didn't just attack random people, she literally devised a strategy to evade hunters and find new victims. This tigress calmly traveled up to 32 kilometers between villages to find prey. Moreover, most of her victims were young women who went into the forest for firewood or cattle feed. And what's strangest, all attacks occurred during the day. Usually large predators prefer to hunt at dusk or night, but this tigress, it seems, decided to stand out here too. Villagers were so afraid that they refused to leave their homes if they heard a tiger's roar in the forest. One village didn't go outside for 5 days. Hunters were called in to solve the problem, but the tigress easily evaded them. Then the Nepalese army came to help. And guess what? They couldn't catch the tigress either. The soldiers only forced her to cross the border into India, where she continued to kill people, a classic example of how shifting a problem to neighbors is never a real solution. The tigress's story ended only in 1907, when British hunter Jim Corbett went after her. He nearly fell into an ambush, but managed to escape, and the next day organized a big hunt involving 300 locals. The tigress was finally shot, and the village held a celebration that lasted until late at night. But the most interesting thing was discovered during the autopsy. The tigress had broken fangs on the right side of her mouth due to an old bullet wound. This injury most likely prevented her from hunting her usual prey, and she switched to an easier target: humans. And do you know why predators, having tasted human flesh, often don't want to return to their usual diet? It's all about salt. Human blood contains more of it than the blood of other animals. Predators, once having developed a taste for our flavor, find it more appealing than deer meat or other wild animals. But such a switch requires experience, meaning frequent encounters with humans. Unfortunately, with each passing year, we increasingly invade the habitat of wild animals, so such encounters become inevitable. Most man-eating predators don't start hunting humans without reason. Usually, they're wounded, old, or deprived of normal food sources. Take the Panna leopard, another record holder with 400 victims to its name. This beast began eating human flesh due to a cholera epidemic, when there were many human corpses in the jungle. And when the food ran out, the leopard decided to procure it himself. But of course, the most productive man-eaters are lions. A pride of 15 individuals in Njombe killed possibly up to 1,500 people from 1932 to 1947. They hunted during the day, which was very unusual for lions, and at night traveled 30 kilometers to the next village. Clever and deadly dangerous. So the next time you're walking in the forest or swimming in a river, remember, sometimes for a predator, you're not just a random encounter. You might be an exquisite delicacy that's hard to resist, especially if you're salty. See you soon.